So, welcome everybody to Intro for Psychology Online. I am Dr. Williams and I will be your instructor this semester. If you're open here, you're in week 1, which is great. Hopefully, you've already had a chance to look at the Start Here menu. That's kind of like the one-stop shop where I've put everything, and that's located right here. But if not, as soon as you're done listening to this podcast, you can head right over there, click on that, and check that out. There's a lot of materials there for you to look through. But what I have here is what you're going to pretty much see every week, which is a to-do list. I like to put everything out there so it's very clear what the expectations are each week. Helps give you reminders as to what's due and what's coming up. And just helps keep everything organized. So you can expect to find every single week kind of what you're going to have for the week in the weekly folders, which are located all alongside here. Now, I think I said this in the podcast for in the Start Here menu, but you're only going to see week by week. So while mine shows all of these weeks, you won't see these until they're made available. Sunday night of every week, I will make the following week available. So for right now, you should only be seeing week 1 pop up on your sidebar here. And so when you click into week 1, you're here. And what I basically have set forth to do this week is pretty simple. It's giving you time to get acclimated to the class. It's giving you time to check out what the requirements are, all the materials that I've posted, and just for us to get to know each other. So I've put a lot of to-dos here. Some of this is repetitive from what's already in the syllabus. So if you've looked at the syllabus, you may already have an idea of what will be going on in terms of this week. But let me just go through this semi-quickly because I don't want to take up too much of your time with this. You definitely want to go to that Start Here menu if you haven't done that already, as there's a lot of documents there. When we get to week 2, you'll have another podcast. So each week I do a short podcast to kind of introduce you to the week, give you any tips, any hints about, different things, as well as any feedback. So as the class progresses, in a particular week, I might say, hey, I noticed a lot of people last week struggling with this, or I might give you some feedback about the discussion boards. Whatever it might be, you definitely want to be listening to the podcast because otherwise you might be missing out on some important information. So like I said, week 1 is dedicated to getting familiar with the course. You should also, during week 1, read through the preface to chapter 1 in Cicerelli and White. The preface has a ton of good information in it about note-taking, study skills, test-taking. I think it'll be super helpful. Specifically, there's some stuff about the SQ3R method, which is just a method of like reading and digesting the information that you're receiving, and I think it's great. It's research sound in that it's been through the ringer and tried and tested and seems to be pretty good with helping material to stick and stay in memory and hang on to it. If you haven't already, you want to print out the course syllabus. I always say print it out because it's great to have that hard copy with you. Create a little folder for the class. I know everything's online, but sometimes having that paper copy in front of you really is helpful, especially for due dates and not missing anything like that. This would be the week to be purchasing your textbooks. If you haven't done so already, there's some more info in the Start Here menu about that, so I won't go into detail. Also use this time during this week. Obviously, you've already logged into Plato, but check out fully what's in Plato. Make sure you kind of have the lay of the land. Some of you, this is the first time taking an online class or just an online class maybe at Westfield. So you might be new to the Blackboard system that we use called Plato. So just make sure you kind of see what's there. If you go right to the main login screen in Plato before you log into my class, You'll see some basics that our nice CIT department has put in there for you, all kinds of resources, downloads. If you're having trouble, opening documents on your computer, it might be that you just need to download the app that goes with it or the newest software or something like that. So they've put all kinds of resources in there for you. And you can always check out the help menu in Plato too if you need extra help. This week you want to be logging into my Psych Lab. That is the software that comes attached to our textbook, and basically it's put out by Pearson, which is the publisher of your textbook, and it offers all kinds of fabulous resources that are going to help you out a lot during the class, particularly quizzes that you can take that I don't grade, that are just for you for practice, study guides, chapter reviews. There's an ebook option, so you can read the textbook, or you can have the textbook read to you. There's even an audio option on there, and videos that we're going to be watching throughout the semester that go along with content that we're covering. So all the instructions are in the Start Here menu on how to log in. I've also put them down here for you. So those are the same. There's also, I put a link to my Psych Lab down here for you, just to be helpful. I gave you some more information about the bio in the Start Here menu. I actually posted my bio, so take a look at that. Just see how I did that and what kinds of information I included. But I'd love you all to post your own bios by Sunday, September 9th, and you can do that by submitting them in the Student Lounge, which is, if you go back to the sidebar menu, if you go into Communications, click in there and you're going to see Student Lounge. Also in there, you're going to see the option to email me. I check my swilliams@westfield.ma.edu email very regularly. The email that's attached in here goes through Plato, and I don't check that as much. So if you really are looking for a quicker response from me, I would just email me directly. So again, it's swilliams@westfield.ma.edu, and I'm pretty good about getting back to you within 24 hours if you do it via that route. But aside from that, with your bios, just tell me a little bit about yourself. It's sort of our icebreaker for the week, so I can get to know you. And again, if you can post a picture, I'd love that. You don't have to, but it's nice to place a face to a name. We would be doing that if this was an in-class or in-person class. So please feel free to do that. All the instructions are in the syllabus too about the bio, like what should you include in it. Pretty straightforward. You can take a look at mine. I use 3 words to describe myself, and I love that because it's kind of like you in a nutshell. So if you would like to, give me 3 adjectives that best describe you, that would be great. And any other details, such as like where you're from, or what your goals are, maybe your major, because this is intro psych. We get a wide array of majors that take this class, which is always fun, and gives good perspective. You might find some other people that are your same major. It's a great way to network and connect with other people. So please feel free to do that. You're also this week going to be setting up a Twitter account, and we're going to be using Twitter a lot. In week 2, you'll be responding to my first tweet. So there's information in your syllabus on how to set up your Twitter account. Pretty straightforward. If you're not familiar with Twitter, now you will be. We're only going to be using it for the class. So we're not going to be following anyone really on Twitter. You'll be following me. I will be posting tweets every week, and you'll just be responding to those. And if you know anything about Twitter, when you make a tweet, it's usually pretty short and sweet. So nothing lengthy, and it will be tied to then what we will be talking in greater detail about in our discussion post. So it's kind of like a foot in the door. when we do these tweets on a weekly basis, it's getting you sort of thinking about the material before you actually dive in and discuss it in the discussion board posts. I've done this in the past. Students love it. It's just easy. You can use Twitter from anywhere if you have a phone, a smartphone. If not, and if this is really an issue and you have no way of using Twitter, please contact me and let me know. But otherwise, it's pretty fun and pretty easy, pretty low maintenance type of thing. And I think it will really enhance sort of what we get out of our discussion. So there's some more information about that in your syllabus, so you can check that out definitely. That is it really for week 1. So as you can see, again, it's just really getting familiar with the class and the requirements and what's expected of you. I really encourage you all, if you have any questions, to let me know. If it's a general question about the class, I'd prefer that you post it in the communications tab. So if you click in there and you go to Ask Dr. W, that's something everyone can see. So if you have a very general question, you can post it in there, and then when I respond, everyone will see my response. Chances are, if you have a general question about the class, maybe someone else does too. So that's an effective way there. But if you have a more personal question or just something that pertains only to you, please feel free to email me this week and let me know what that is. As you're orienting to the class and you're kind of trying to digest all the material, I know it can be a lot at first. So please feel free to ask any questions that you may have rather sooner than later. That way I can help you out. But that's it. Look forward to our actual full week next week of material, but I look forward this week to reading your bios and getting to know you all a little bit better. Okay? Good luck, everyone, on your first week.